What's going on, everyone? XO603 here. Today is a sad day, but a good day. I've thought about this long and hard, and I love this bike. I thought about also, maybe doing a ride along, but Dan's like, nah, it's just easier to break it down and have the bike, and I can walk around and, kind of show you. But I thought long and hard about, keeping this bike or not. So realistically speaking, I was actually supposed to only have one H2. This was the H2 that was going to be fully built, going to be the Ultra H2 bike. What happened is that I was advised that it's possible the H2 is going away, and I decided, you know what? I said, let me get a base H2. So I got a base H2, both 2025s. And then what happened was Kawasaki said, oh, we're not doing away with it, but we are upping the price of them. So they upped the price of this. I think if you check Kawasaki's website now, they are going for $38,000 MSRP, whereas I paid $36,000. Now, I was told the prices would be going up now, of course, with tariffs or anything else, but, that is what they have on the website now. So, yes, I actually made out pretty good. I bought a bike for $36,000. Of course, after tax, everything comes out to over whatever X amount. But I guess like 40 something. But 38, that's going to put you probably at like 43, 44 after tax and everything. But so now that I have two H2s, one of the things is that I kind of don't have a reason to keep both of them. So I have this H2 Carbon. One of the things is that with getting both H2s, I said, you know what? Let me make one like a fun daily, that could be a dailyable H2. And this was it. One of the other things is because it is a Carbon, now it's not a limited production bike, but I wanted it to be, spiffy, but not take away from the, the H2 Carbon feel of it, because it is collectors, kind of in a sense. Very rare, but the thing is though, is that, I wanted to make it a nice daily, and, we did a lot of work to it, which has made it look so beautiful. First starting off, the bike was picked up and went to Boom Soon HQ to Chris. And for those of you that don't know, Chris actually has the record for H2s. In the half mile stuff, he has the record. When you think of bringing an H2, the person you want to work on your H2 is him. There is nobody who has a better science, has this bike down to a T than him. I'll just mic drop for that right there. Thankfully, he was able to work on it. Because it is a hard bike to work on. It's a lot of moving parts, a lot to understand, a lot to do. But so for the, we'll just go over the visual stuff. So of course we went with the winglets, the H2R winglets. Of course, because this is the Carbon, it has the top cowling there. That is Carbon. Then on top of that, we went with Carbon here because it comes, so the Carbons come with the matte fairings, which are over there. I can show in a sec. But what we did is we took the base mirrored fairings off the base and put them on here. Because I think when you think of H2, I think the mirrored fairings is what made this bike so unique, so beautiful, so futuristic. Then, of course, we went with all the Carbon in here, in the dash, everything that looks beautiful. We went with the zero gravity windshield. We also went with the domino grips, I think these are. They have like a little tint of green there. Hopefully it's coming out on camera. Went with ASV levers. When these rear sets are from company in Japan, I'm not sure, I forget the name. They also have the Van Diemen exhaust. We also did the Carbon here, looks beautiful. Carbon here below the tank, Carbon here under the seat. Went with the Carbon wheels, which these things are just, it really makes this bike, especially if you plan on keeping it stock, ride like with the swing arm instead of doing a double-sided, which you will see in the Ultra bike. I'm trying to think, what else did we do with this bike? Carbon here, Carbon, that's like a Carbon one piece there. Top of tire, Carbon here, Carbon here. We did the carbon air intake, carbon here. The carbon air intake, for those that are interested in the carbon air intake, so if you do the carbon air intake on the H2s, it's a 2-part assembly, and you will need, so it's not just this piece, you will need to buy other stuff with it to get it on. And yeah, so that is visually what you see, what is done to the bike. Now the whole other area of this bike is, it has what, stage 3 gears or whatever I think it is. So it's a 300 wheel monster on Race Gas, which Race Gas is over there in the corner behind the Ducati. She's a monster. As Chris told me, she will flip you in 5th gear. That's how powerful this bike is. If you hook on that tire, you are coming up. She is one of the most diabolical bikes I've ridden. I'll tell you, the most scariest bike. Every time I hop on this bike, I think I'm either going to get a ticket, go to jail, or die. Seriously, that's how this bike is. So I will warn you, it is not your typical stock H2. It is a totally other animal than an H2. And then, what's it called? Trying to think, what else? Yeah, it's a monster. It's scary. But either way, though, yeah, so we've decided to get rid of this thing because we have to obviously make room for what's coming in the future. I haven't fully decided on a direction, but I do know that I want to sell this bike, and it's always great to have money, whether you invest or whether you're sitting aside for the next best thing. So yeah, that has to actually be decided next month, which we'll see. But either way, this bike has to go. So it's very hard for me to part with it because I want to say I love this bike. This bike is, anywhere I go, everyone's, oh, now I remember what I was going to say. I was going to say the other day when I was riding, I had to get around the truck real quick because the strap started flailing, and I went around them and real fast, and there was a sheriff like 2 cars up, and he heard me, and he jumps, and he's like, oh, what? And he looks, and I'm just like, I am so sorry, I did not mean to. He heard the bike, he didn't see me though. By the time he looked back, I was doing the speed limit, and he knew. But I mean, realistically speaking, usually the sheriffs, they see me on the bike, they know I'm not trying to do any trouble or anything like that. So they leave me alone. So shout out to that cop. This bike will get you in trouble. Another thing is, while I'm on the topic, and then I'll go back to the other thing, is with this bike, a lot of people don't understand and realize that this bike is a very fast, quick bike. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now, as you all saw, in D's with his H2, that it is a torquey bike. I will say, I think his H2 is a little slower than this. It's not as much horsepower as this, I don't think. And that's another thing too that we did fix. For the longest, I did have the play and the throttle, but last time I took it, they fixed it, so it's instant versus having to go quarter turn and then go full throttle. So that's really nice on that. But I will say though, whoever gets this bike, it's going to be an animal. Like I said, I haven't decided officially when to sell it, but I have decided it is going to sell. With all that being said, it was an amazing bike. I loved it. I will probably regret this, like selling the M1K, but at the same time, it has to go for what is to come. Now I will say, one of the things is riding this bike, I did think about getting a white M1K, and I do miss having a BMW for the, usability of it. It's nice daily. It's beautiful. There's so much stuff to it. It's amazing. But the thing is though, is that when you hop on this, everyone sees it. They're like, great, nice, beautiful bike. Like, is this an H2? And it's like, yeah, it is. For those that don't know, the H2R and the H2 Street, which actually I should point out too, the R, it is a little R, but Kawasaki does that. Still, the H2R is the R. This is kind of as a H2, I should say that. But they do that for trademark purposes. So it's H2 carbon. It's not a H2R, although they do have the little R on the website. So if you all see that, no, that's why that says H2. Because for the longest, I was like, it's an R, right? A little R. But yeah, so how have I enjoyed this bike? Well, this bike, honestly, I have loved it Like I said, everywhere you go, the road presence is phenomenal. You know, we have done, how many miles on it? I think 2,974 miles on this bike. And for a stage 3 bike, she has not given me any trouble whatsoever. You know, it literally has been such a beautiful daily, you know, reliability on it has been, you know, 100%, which is expected coming from Boomstoon HQ. Just like on the Busa, we have over 5,600 miles on that. And as you can see with this bike, the tail just looks so beautiful. Look how menacing that looks. Like, seriously, such a beautiful, unique bike. And as I walk around her, I really don't even want to get rid of her. But like I said, it's for what's next. But anyway, to go back to my original point though, you know, I was thinking about getting a BMW M1K. And I said, you know what, the BMW M1K in the white is so beautiful, but for me, I just don't feel it's the right time. And when you hop on this bike really just makes you love it, you know. Now, granted, you are lower to the ground. You're not as high up as a BMW. You don't have heated grips. You don't have the phone integration. But at the end of the day, it's just such a nice bike to ride for road presence, for power speed, you know, and you're just all over the place. You know, everyone sees it. They know it, you know. So literally, I'm thankful for having to be able to ride this bike. As you know, Shift Sector has started coming up in, I think, next month in Hondo. That is when the Ultra H2 bike will be revealed. Its baby brother. And so pay attention to that, because I think Mr. Boomstoon, the Wizard of Boom, is probably going to set a new record. We'll see. But that will be running there. And, you know, like I said, running this at Shift Sector, you know, I'll say this, getting this bike, I actually didn't even understand what I was getting myself into. And I still haven't, because the race gas to go full out on this bike, you know, you have to really learn it. I literally have not learned it because I haven't, you know, continue to put race gas in it and ride it as much, you know, because of course, once you put race gas in it, then you got to drain the tank all the way and then refill it and then run it back through, because it does kill the lines and stuff like that. So you don't want to do it often, but that is a whole nother animal to learn. And unfortunately, I didn't get to experience that as much as the Busa I'm more familiar with. But I will say, you know, it's honestly the ultimate street weapon in acceleration. I won't say top speed, but I will say acceleration. You know, she's just phenomenal. But yeah, this is parting goodbyes. Like I said, probably in the next month, she'll be going up for sale. So now we will be taking off the mirrored fairings. Some of the carbon pieces won't have the winglets. I'm gonna probably keep these or sell them. But she'll be getting the matte back to the matte fairings here, as you can see, which have been just sitting there, you know. So she'll go back to the matte, and you can see the difference there. The matte carbon, or matte, not carbon, but matte versus the, you know, mirrored reflection. So yeah, she'll be going back to all this. Also too, I just realized something. I actually don't have the, it's actually a good point. I have to hit up them for the tank in this. But anyway, or actually, wait a minute. I'm not sure. That's actually a good question, because I'm not sure. I have to look at that, because I think the matte comes with the matte. Yeah, I'll have to hit them up, because I should get that. But anyway, thing is though, is that, yeah, it's a parting of ways. Great time with this bike. I'm sorry, unfortunately, I didn't get to do as much content as I wanted to show y'all, but you know, I hope y'all did enjoy what you saw of it versus this one here, and this one, you all won't see too much of it, but like I said, we got some stuff coming this week, so that'll be really awesome to have that finally finished and done. But yes, it is a sweet sorrow and goodbye to the beautiful 2025 Kawasaki H2 Carbon. Like I said, I love this bike, and you know, it's so beautiful. You can see just sitting on it, you know, it is a phenomenal bike to ride. One of the things is too, is I should say, you know, even with the knee positioning, your knees are in the tank, you know, you're really crunched over, you know, you're full locked in this bike. Honestly, it's phenomenally scary when you get on it. You know, like I tell, you know, it's so funny how many people ask me, they're like, can I ride it? And I'm like, you don't want to ride this bike. This bike is a death trap. You know, a lot of people think they can get on this bike and just ride it. I'll be the first and the last person to tell you, you cannot. This bike, you cannot just get on it. I don't care if you've been on a 600. I don't even care if you've been on a 1000 cc. You cannot just get on this bike and ride. This bike is a whole other bracket of power, whole other bracket of level. Even for the people who, you know, have the stretch Gixxers, the sprockets, I don't even care about that. You know, this bike is just a whole other bracket. You all just don't understand. It's so much power that it, you know, it's hard to put into, like, I guess, words unless you ride it, but it's just scary. You know, like I said, though, you know, this is a bike that will truly test you to the limit. And honestly, I want to say, is it even possible to really harness the full power of this bike without doing the extended swing arm? Probably not. No, you still won't even be able to, but it does make a nice daily and usable power, you know, when you can do it, you know, not all out, but yeah. So, but that's it for y'all. That's all I have. But yes, it has been bittersweet. Like I said, I'll probably do another video last time riding it, before we go to party out and everything else. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed having this Kawasaki H2 Carbon, you know, on the channel. And I hope you all have a wonderful day and night wherever you are. Remember, the world is as evil as it is. No need to be hateful, spiteful, jealous, none of that stuff. Just stay focused and motivated. And remember, y'all, everything comes down to mindset. You will not be successful in life unless you have the proper mindset. And also, too, one thing I will say, thanks to my upbringing, you know, my parents and my grandparents, be slow to speak, and be slow to speak, but eager to listen. I will say that if you do that, you will literally educate yourself far beyond belief, and like, things will just pop up in wisdom, and you will just be like, wow, thank you, God. So y'all, stay focused, have a healthy, lovely day, night, wherever you are, and yeah, later.